Good morning. Hola, hola. Okay, so starting out, jumping on the bandwagon. I have always loved 12 Days of Christmas. It's one of my favorite Christmas carols. Being married to a Spaniard, I learned the true meaning of the 12 Days of Christmas, which is the first day of Christmas is Christmas Day. And then the second day of Christmas is the day after Christmas, and so on, all the way till January 6th, which is Epiphany, which is when the wise men bring gifts to children in different parts of Europe. Specifically, I'm speaking of Spain. That's their tradition. So bear with me, folks. I may cry a little bit in some of these videos, but I'm doing this to honor my husband. So I was going to do crafty things because I've done before on my blog and stuff, 12 Days of Christmas ornaments and different things. But I'm just going to do 12 Days of Christmas junk journaling things. So let's just call this 12 Days of Junky Christmas. And because it is kind of a junky Christmas this year. Without my husband and with COVID and everything that's going on, it's not been so much a merry Christmas as a junky Christmas. I've noticed that my neighbors are all putting up lights who never did before. The whole street is full of lights. So I think people are trying in whatever way they can to bring a little Christmas cheer into their lives. So the first project we're going to do, I started out with some junk mail. Now, we all get these like oversized postcards in the mail like this. This one was it came folded up like this. And I've already covered it, but I can give you the dimensions of it if you want to cut it. But when I saw it, I was like, I was going to throw it away. And then I was like, oh, of course, oh, I'll have to fix that later. How can I utilize this and make it into something cool? So I have tons of gift wrap, vintage gift wrap. So I covered it front and back with gift wrap. There was already the fold in here. There was already the card in here. There was already the flap over. It came just like this in an envelope. And it was an advertisement for, I don't know, a rental car or something. But I thought, what a cute little card to make for, a really special person in your life, or a cool little thing to stick in your junk journal. Now, I just finished gluing it and I pulled it too tight and undid it. So I'm going to have to lift this and stick my ribbon in there. But anyway, I love it. So this is, again, another piece of vintage wrap paper. And they have some gift wrap in the stores right now. This isn't old wrapping paper. It's vintage reproduction wrapping paper that I just bought at Home Goods. TJ Maxx has it too. Every place you go, I think people are hungry for nostalgia and simpler times right now. And so all the decor stuff you see is home for the holidays, red trucks with Christmas trees, and vintage stuff that we saw in the 40s, 50s, and 60s in Christmas. We're seeing a lot of that this year. So I bought that paper and covered the inside card with some, paper that I got from Amazon. So there was some dark brown paper and a light tan paper, and I just covered both sides of it. And the words show through a little bit, but I don't mind. It's a junk journal thing. And just glue a piece of lace down. I may have to stitch it because I just put it on with a glue stick, and then glued this little guy down with Fabri-Tac. But there's your little Christmas card inside. And then I had bought a whole bunch of these at an estate sale, and I'm trying to use them up, so I just tucked one inside there. I thought it was cute. And there we go. So I'm going to show you on a smaller version piece of junk mail. So we're talking this kind of junk mail, right? Everybody has this. So you get these in your mail all the time, and I save them now. I have one of my plastic bags in my bin that I told you guys about, that I stack plastic bags. Let me just show you my plastic bag. Might be kind of hard for you to see. Oh, too close. I can't back it up. Let's see if I'll do this. Okay. If I go like that, hopefully you can see. I have everything sorted. So this is all cardboard packaging, tissue, envelopes, and then book page, and then scraps by color and theme. It's a lot easier to just grab a bag and do that. That was one of my scrapbooking tricks from back in the day. All right, so let me give you the dimensions for this one, okay, in case you want to make a jumbo size. You could even use as your base paper bag. A couple of layers of paper bag glued together will give you, or just one layer of paper bag, and then put your wrapping paper on both sides. It's going to be thick enough to be more like cardstock. So the dimensions of that, of this, was 13 3/4 long, including the flap opened up, okay? So 13 3/4 long, and it's 8.5 inches this way. So again, brown paper sack, cut to that length, and then covered front and back with a pretty gift wrap. Any gift wrap will work. And then the flap, once you have your long piece of 13 3/4 inch paper, the inside flap is 2.5 inches wide, and the front flap is, or the outside flap is 1 3/4 inches wide. And then this, I did not measure this little thing. I just had this little emblem, and then I cut a piece of chipboard from, I don't know, it was a Cracker Box, I think, and just covered it with some of the brown paper, and then glued the lace down. So there wasn't a measurement. It was just, I eyeballed it, for matting, and the same with the lace, the little deer. So that's the dimensions for this large one. The one we're going to make is smaller. This particular one that we're going to do started out, this one's 11 inches wide. Okay, now I have a bunch of these. Look, I've been saving all this junk mail. They're all the same size. Okay, so this must be a standard size to go through the mail. So this one is 11 inches long, 6 inches high. So I did it reverse. We got to flip it backwards. So it's 1.5 inches for the inside tuck flap and 1 inch for the outside flap. So I measured those first, right? And then I scored them with my score on my scoreboard with my bone folder. And then I just folded it in half, pinched the fold mark, and laid it back on my scoreboard and scored it again, so it was half. All right, now look at this. Okay, dollar store. I know a lot of you who do little envelope things, you go to the dollar store and you buy the little gift cards for a pack of 6 or 8 for $1. This is one of those cards. So I'm going to cover this with some pretty, paper as well. And look, it's the perfect size to tuck right inside here. And then this fits inside an envelope, or you can just seal it however you want. Maybe staple it or something here, seal it with some washi tape, and you can mail it just like that if you wanted to mail it instead of, tucking it inside your journal. So, all right, let's get busy with some paper. Okay, sorry for the background noise, guys. It's cold. I have to have my heater on. And by cold, I know, by standards of otherwhere in the world, it's not really cold here. It's like 40-something degrees. But for California girl here, it's a little chilly. So I'm just going to have my heat on for a little bit to warm my little space up. So I don't have central heat, air and heat out here. I have a window air conditioner and a little space heater, but it's so well insulated. My little space heater kicks butt, and it gets my room warm and toasty in no time. So I don't know if I told you guys the measurements, did I? So this was 11 inches long, 6 inches wide, and they all seem to be that same size. This is just standard. So you could actually make this with a piece of 12 by 12 paper. Just cut the 12 by 12 paper in half. It would just be a 1/2 inch wider when you're done, because it'll be 1 inch longer. So all told, or you can make your flaps a little bit bigger and it'll still be the same, the same size in the middle. All right, I'm gonna do half of the paper at a time because it dries up and then I have issues with it sticking down. So I just use a credit card. I know a lot of you have used these, but especially when you're sticking thin paper to a cardstock, the credit card just works wonders to get nice and smooth without any bubbles, any blemishes. So I'm really missing this year for Christmas. My husband and I were going to go on December 18th to Spain and spend 3 weeks. We were saving up all his vacation time so that he could, and he was going to go to the trade show in Paris, and I was going to skip, much as I didn't want to miss Paris, so that we could spend 3 full weeks in Spain for the holiday this year. Yeah, then COVID happened and my husband died, so that's not happening this year. But I'm very sad to be missing holidays in Spain because let me tell you, those Spaniards, they know how to party. Let me just say that. We would get to his mom's and we would take a nap, visit family the first day, but then the next day we would get up for breakfast. Of course, we saw jet lag, so we would get up late. We would have breakfast. We'd visit for a while. Then we'd go take a nap. And then 1 o'clock, usually somebody would come over and we would have lunch with whoever was visiting to, visit us. And then after lunch, we would take another nap, around 4 or so. And we'd wake up about 8 and we'd get ready and we'd go out at 9 p.m. And the first time I'm like, 9 o'clock, it's bedtime. He's like, no, it's not. Get ready. So he goes in and he's like, and take a nap. You're going to need a nap. That's why we have siesta in this country. I was like, okay. So we go out, we catch the bus at 9:30. We meet his friends down at a bar at 10 o'clock and we have drinks. And then we go have more drinks. And then we go have tapas. And then we have dinner around 11 o'clock. Dinner finishes around 2-ish. Then we go to a bar and we shoot pool and we play darts and drink more, and then we go to another bar where there's dancing if we don't have kids with us. Those with kids usually go home around 3:30-ish. When the kids get tired, the kids just pile all the coats in the corner and fall asleep on the coats. But now that there's no kids because the kids are all grown and they want to do their own thing, we go to a bar and we stay at that bar till they basically kick us out. And it's a tiny little hole-in-the-wall bar that I would say is probably 12 feet wide by about 15 feet deep. It's got a tiny little hole-in-the-wall bathroom. There's no tables or anything. There's some tables outside if you can get them, but they're always full. So we hang out, we dance, we sing, we have fun. I've got some great video of my husband and all his friends dancing and singing flamenco to Volare, the Gypsy Kings version, which is so fun. Every time I hear that song, I think of my husband and I think of the fun times we had in Spain dancing to that music. But we hang out there, and then when that place closes, we go to the disco, and we stay at the disco until about 7:30. And then after that, we go to the breakfast place. And it's usually still dark when we get there. And we have the typical, drunkard's breakfast is fried eggs, fried ham, and some wine. More wine. Mixed with some kind of soda or something, but they bring it in a big carafe with a lot of bread. So to soak up all the alcohol. So you eat that and sober up a little bit, and then you stagger home. There's no bus, so you got to take a taxi unless your friends have a car, but most of them take taxis because we're out drinking all night. And we get back to his mom's about 8:39 in the morning, go to bed, do it all over again. So it was really fun, and not anything that I experienced here. And everybody, you know, I mean, the first time I did it, I was 51 years old, and all my friends are like, oh my God, I don't know how you can do that, how you can party all night, you're not 20 anymore. It's like, you know what, you don't notice it because the jet lag, you know, with the jet lag, you're partying during the California day and you're sleeping during the California night. So the jet lag doesn't affect me at all, and it just works out. But let me tell you, it is so much fun. Now, I don't know if it's just so much fun because I've only been with my husband's family and friends, but his family and friends are just the most fun people, and they're just, I miss all of them. I don't have much contact with them because I don't speak Spanish and they don't speak English. So, you know, we thumbs up and like each other's stuff on Facebook and stuff. But I made the mistake of not really learning the language and letting my husband do all the translating for me. And that was a disservice to me and to his family because I learned, they weren't able to learn about me, and I wasn't able to really learn about them other than what my husband told them about me and what he told me about them. So I am working on learning better Spanish. I would be taking classes, physical classes at the adult school if I could, but I'm doing some online learning. I have a friend that's a teacher, a Spanish teacher, and she's helping me. She teaches little kids, but hey, you know, that's about the level I'm at. So she's given me some lessons in her online learning thing that I can go in and do too, which is helping. And I'm realizing that I understand a lot more. And there's some little girls next door that don't speak much English that come over and do crafts with me, and I'm able to communicate pretty well with them with my little bit of Spanish and their very limited English. You know, we make it work. Okay, so now that piece of paper is covered front and back. Now, I pre-scored so it would be easier to fold after I'd already cut it or covered it, but you can score after if you want. You just run the risk if you score it later and try to fold it. If you score it when the glue and everything is still wet, you have a chance that you may rip the wrapping paper and you have to start all over. So that's why I pre-score. There we go. And I messed it up. I knew I was going to. That's all right. It'll just be what it is. Okay, so this was supposed to be the front flap, and this was supposed to be the tuck. So it was supposed to go this way. But I put the paper on the wrong way. So this is now going to become the front flap. This is going to be the interior flap. It's not going to be as wide to hold the card in, but I think it will still work. I think it will still work. It's okay. I'll have to kind of go back and rescore this because, see, this is what happens. See that? It's a prototype. It's all right. I can fix it. I'll just do I'll just collage another piece on there because it's all collaged anyway. It's better if you wait till it's completely dry before you try to fold it and start scoring it, because then the glue is dry. When the glue's wet, things move around under there. So learn from my mistake, people, and don't do that. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead now since we're just doing this whole thing. I'm going to glue down my flaps. And because this is cardstock, and it's, I find that this tends to try to creep open on you. So the best thing to do in this case, and I'll have these laying around, get out your little binder clips and just clamp it for a little bit so the glue holds. That way you don't have to sit there and hold it with your fingers. Okay, so now we're going to cover the card, And we're going to make the little, I'm going to pick out a pattern that I want for my little square for the holder. Okay, so I cut out my things to go on. So I had actually cut this one, but then that won't work because it's right there. So I did this one instead. And I didn't back it with lace. You can see it's this is just a cracker box. And if you've never tried these from Trader Joe's, they're freaking delicious. If you like blue cheese, these are amazing crackers. They're gorgonzola bites or something like that. Anyway, cardboard. So I'll just cover this with a little scrap of some of this brown paper packaging. So this is very thin. It's like a thin paper bag. I think it's actually the proper brown paper that you wrap packages with, because I got a package and it was gift wrapped on the outside, and then there was this around the box on the inside. So of course I saved it all because you never know when you're going to need it. Like I need more scraps of paper around this house. Like I need a freaking hole in the head, but I'll save it anyway. Just keep a wet wipe handy because I'm a little overzealous with the glue, especially on the edges, because otherwise it lifts up. So holidays in Spain, I was talking about. Very, very different from here. And it's not, we have, our hype starts, well, actually, after 4th of July, the Halloween stuff comes out. But the Christmas stuff comes out usually before Halloween is over. And by Thanksgiving, it's full-on Christmas everywhere. But their Christmas starts, a couple weeks before Christmas, and it goes all the way until January 6th. So it is literally a holiday season. There's parties, there's bank holidays, there's saints feasts and festivals, and big parades with the 3 wise men, and I mean every day there's something else going on. So a lot of businesses just close down for that whole time of the year. I know Pasquale used to take Christmas off. He would work during the summer holiday when most Europeans go on vacation in August. He would work in August, and he would take 3 weeks or a month off at Christmas time when he lived in Spain. So he loved the holidays and loved doing special things and making them special for the people that he loved. We'll come back to that. So what I decided to do is all of these things that I'm making in this 12 Junky Days of Christmas, I'm going to give them away. So if you comment, all you have to do is comment. You have to give it a like and comment. It can even just say, cute or like it or ugly, whatever you want to say in your comment. And give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. They don't really care over there at YouTube. They just want interaction with the thing. I'm trying to grow my channel. So if doing a giveaway helps me get more subscribers and more likes and more comments, hey, I'm willing to do it. But every day I'm going to give away to a different person who commented on that day. So if you want to have a chance to win them all, comment every day. And chances are you can win because I don't have that many followers and hardly anybody comments. So those that comment, I'm telling you, you got a pretty good chance of winning. Okay, I crack myself up sometimes. I wanted to do this the other way, but the Christmas word is too long. So we're going to do it like this, and I'm going to stick it in. It's going to go on the card sideways, or in the little tuck thing sideways anyway. Doesn't really matter. I just think it's cute. Now, I have to trim up this card because it's a little longer in the front than the back. And this is my paper trimmer that I trim all the thick stuff with. Now, don't make a liar out of me now. It usually does it really well. But today, of course, what did it? It just didn't go all the way through. So I have two, well, I probably have like 5 paper trimmers. But I have 2 favorites. I have the one that has the scoreboard that I use. It has the good blade on it that's real sharp. And I always make sure that there's a sharp blade in it. This is the one that's duller. I could cut cardstock, multiple layers, whatever with. And it is a little champ. It keeps on ticking. I've had that thing for, geez, 15 plus years. Maybe 18 years. Back from the scrapbooking days. Started scrapbooking in the 90s when my youngest was a baby. She was born in 97, so probably 97, 98. I think that was one of the first paper cutters I ever bought. All right, so there's my little card to tuck inside. Hopefully this is glued down now. Let's see. Yes. Look at that. Fits like a champ. A great way to use up all those cards, because I use the envelopes and I have all the cards left over. I'm like, well, what am I going to do with all these cards? Okay, now I know. This. And then this is going to go here. I'm just going to, I think I'm going to glue it down here, you know, on this half side. And I'll put the ribbon, you know, under the good side. And I'm just going to do one long piece. Got my fabric scissors, pink for fabric, orange for paper. You know, we all just grab them once in a while and use the wrong thing. And, you know, I was always grew up in a house with a sewer, a grandma and an aunt who sewed, and it was death if you used their good sewing scissors for whatever. My mom had a good pair too, but inevitably one of my brothers would use them for something they weren't supposed to. I mean, I knew the rule and I understood because I had tried to cut things later on with scissors, good sewing scissors that had been ruined by cutting something else with them. And so I didn't do that. But my brother, I had a brother that was a skateboarder, and he used to love to take my mom's good sewing scissors and cut it this way. Last time I had it tie on this side because that's the way the ribbon was so short. But now I can do it the way I wanted to do it originally. Okay, so that's glued down. And we're going to glue this little dude down here. And he's going to go all the way along the back of the ribbon. So we're just going to put a thing of glue. Like this for the ribbon all the way down the middle. And then this side is going to get glued to the card. Okay. Oh, I did it right. It's a miracle. So I just kind of do this to make sure that I got the glue, you know, in the right place. My Santa down. I like him. He's cool. So I just took one of my hole punches and punched that Santa out of the gift wrap. So gift wrap, I'm telling you people, I have bins full of gift wrap and wallpaper and stuff, and you know, I always forget to use it. But it, especially if you're covering up a piece of cardstock, you don't want to use more cardstock because it's too thick. So if you do this, with, you know, you've got your cardstock, but 2 layers of gift wrap, it's a nice heavy, it feels like a heavyweight card now. And it's beautiful. Look at it. Okay, so my last thing that I always do is do a little dovetail. So you always want to fold it in half. On the fold side, come up and cut towards the corner. So you get your little, this ribbon especially frays really badly. So you don't always have to do it on every kind of ribbon, but I do it for aesthetic purposes. I like the way it looks. Alright. So this was a pretty quick card, you know. Take you maybe half an hour if you're a quick crafter. The thing that took me the longest was deciding what paper to use and then fussy cutting stuff out. You know, once you've got all your stuff together, it goes really quickly. So now you don't have to necessarily do this. You could just do, you know, a piece of elastic. I have some elastic that I took off of some tags, and I could have very easily just put a piece of elastic around it. It would have held it tighter, and it wouldn't have been as much bulk in my on the card. Or if you're going to put this in a scrapbook, in a junk journal. So now I just have to fix that little bit there. So I'll probably cut another little piece of this same Santa from the paper, and I'll just collage that little piece on there a little bit, reinforce it, or I could even use some washi tape, some Christmas washi tape here on this seam, and it would be fine. So get that little card folder, maybe a little card inside. You can tuck a tag in like I did. Maybe you make another little tag. I could stick one of these in, cut it a little shorter. Other way. You know, if I wanted to. Or leave it long. You can, well, you can't leave it long because it won't stick out, but you could do this. Stick it in. Tuck it behind like that. There you go. Okay, so day 1 of the 12 Junky Days of Christmas complete. Please make sure that you give it a like or a thumbs down if you didn't like it, and make a comment so you can get entered into the drawing to win this. Okay, and I'm gonna tuck a secret little surprise inside, so it's gonna be cool. All right, thanks people. See you next time. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by.